Longline fishing is a very popular method in Japan for catching oceanic tuna. Here are some details about this method. Line structure. The longline system consists of a main line that is tens to hundreds of kilometers long, with many small branches, called branch lines, and baited hooks. Bait. Use live bait or artificial bait, usually small fish. Squid, to attract tuna. Drop line. The long line is floated on the sea, and buoys help locate the line position. This system can operate for hours or even days. In Japan, Pacific bluefin tuna is the most commercially valuable and widely caught tuna, along with yellowfin tuna, big-eyed tuna. Bluefin tuna can fetch extremely high prices at auctions at Toyosu Fish Market, Tokyo. Due to the demand for sushi and sashimi, it is a traditional and effective method of catching tuna in vast waters such as the Pacific Ocean. Japan accounts for about 80% of the world's bluefin tuna consumption. Tuna is highly valued for its fresh and nutritious meat. Overfishing. The use of longline fishing has led to a serious decline in the number of bluefin tuna. Bycatch. Longline fishing can catch unwanted species such as sea turtles, sharks and seabirds. The Japanese government and international organizations such as ICCAT are imposing restrictions to ensure sustainable tuna fishing. The process of catching tuna using this method usually takes place in the following steps. Preparation before going to sea. Check and prepare the main line, branch line, hook, bait and positioning buoys. Baits are usually squid, mackerel, small tuna or artificial bait. Drop the line. The fishing boat will go to the far sea where there are many tuna, usually based on experience and modern fish finding equipment such as sonar and GPS. The long fishing line system will be dropped into the water with buoys marking the location. The depth of the hook will be adjusted to suit the water layer where tuna are active, usually from 100 to 300 meters. Waiting for a bite. The wait for a bite can last from 12 to 24 hours or longer depending on sea conditions and the number of fish. Crew members will regularly check and monitor the buoy to determine when a fish is biting. Retrieving and catching fish. When retrieving the line, crew members will carefully pull each branch of the line and hook to avoid damaging the fish. After catching, tuna will be stunned or killed immediately to ensure the quality of the meat. Akejimi, a technique of killing fish to keep it fresh. Preservation and transportation. Tuna is immediately cooled with ice or frozen at -60 degrees Celsius to maintain freshness. The fish are then transported to major markets such as Toyosu in Tokyo for auction or export. The tuna fishing industry in Japan uses many advanced technologies to optimize efficiency. GPS positioning devices help boats determine the exact location to drop the fishing line. Radar and sonar detect schools of tuna in vast seas. Cold storage system ensures fish are always fresh when brought back to land. Automatic line pulling machine reduces labor for crew when pulling in lines. The Toyosu Fish Market in Tokyo is where famous tuna auctions take place. High-quality bluefin tuna often sells for very expensive prices. For example, in 2019, a 278 kilograms bluefin tuna was sold for $3.1 million till the 72 billion Vietnamese dongs. Tuna auctions are a unique cultural feature, attracting the attention of tourists and the media. Tuna fishing, especially bluefin tuna, is facing many challenges. Declining tuna resources. Bluefin tuna is threatened by overfishing. Japan and other countries are working together to reduce catches to protect this species. Bycatch. Longline fishing carries the risk of catching species such as sea turtles, sharks, and seabirds, which can impact the ecosystem. Mitigation measures such as circle hooks and artificial baits are being implemented. International management. The International Commission for the Conservation of Atlantic Tunas, ICCAT, and other organizations have set regulations to limit the catch and size of fish allowed. If you are interested in details about tuna preservation techniques, the history of auctions, or how to enjoy fresh tuna in Japanese culture, let me know. Tuna in Japanese cuisine. Tuna, especially bluefin tuna, maguro, plays an important role in Japanese cuisine. Sashimi, thinly sliced raw tuna, highly valued for its natural flavor and freshness. Sushi. Tuna is the main ingredient for sushi. Some of the most popular cuts of the fish: akami, lean, low-fat red meat; chutoro, medium-fat meat from the belly of the fish; otoro, the fattiest part, soft and melts in the mouth. With the highest price, tataki, lightly pan-fried tuna, keeping the raw meat inside. Tuna in Japanese culture. Bluefin tuna is considered the king of fish because of its high quality and value. The famous tuna auctions at Toyosu Market are not only a commercial transaction, but also a cultural expression of the Japanese people's respect for traditional fishing. Japan is the world's largest tuna consumer, accounting for 80% of global bluefin tuna consumption. Much of the tuna caught is exported to international markets such as the US, Europe and China. However, domestic demand for high-quality tuna, especially for sushi and sashimi, is always at the top. Economic value. Bluefin tuna is very expensive, especially in the early year auctions at Toyosu Market. A 200 to 300 kilograms bluefin tuna can be sold for hundreds of thousands to millions of USD. This value promotes the tuna fishing industry and related service industries such as freezing, transportation and restaurants. Due to the serious decline of bluefin tuna, Japan has adopted a number of conservation measures such as catch quotas. The Japanese government, in cooperation with international organizations such as ICCAT and WCPFC, sets annual tuna catch quotas. This regulation limits the number and size of tuna that can be caught. Farming bluefin tuna. Japan has developed technology to raise bluefin tuna in a controlled environment. Tuna farms such as those at Kinki University have been successful in raising tuna from egg to adult. This helps reduce pressure on wild fishing. Using bycatch reduction technology, Circle hooks are used to reduce the bycatch of species such as sea turtles. Devices that repel seabirds or reduce the impact on sharks are also used. Education and public awareness. Raise awareness among fishermen and consumers about the importance of protecting tuna to ensure sustainable resources. Changes in sea temperature affect the habitat and food sources of tuna. This causes them to migrate further, causing difficulties for fishermen. Many other countries such as Korea, China, and Taiwan also strongly developed the tuna fishing industry, creating competition for resources and markets. Balance between economy and conservation. Japan needs to maintain a balance between economic exploitation and conservation of this precious tuna species. This requires close coordination between the government, fishermen, and the international community. Due to the increasing demand for bluefin tuna and concerns about the decline in the wild population, Japan has invested in developing technology to farm bluefin tuna in an artificial environment. Bluefin tuna farming process: egg harvesting and hatching. Tuna eggs are collected from parent tuna in captivity or in the wild. Eggs are hatched in tanks that control temperature, salinity and oxygen. Fry stage. Fry are raised in tanks with artificial environmental conditions to ensure food and water quality. During this stage, the fry are extremely sensitive and have a high mortality rate if not properly cared for. Growth raising. When the fish are large enough, they are transferred to offshore sea cages. The fish are fed natural foods such as sardines, mackerel and some synthetic foods to stimulate growth. Harvesting. Tuna that reach the ideal weight, about 30 to 100 kilograms, will be harvested and processed. Cultivated tuna must ensure meat quality equivalent to wild fish, especially the fat content in meat parts such as chutoro and otoro. Challenges in tuna farming. High cost. Tuna farming requires large areas, abundant natural food sources and water quality monitoring systems. Low survival rate. Tuna are very sensitive in the larval stage, easily dying when conditions change. Food conservation. Tuna farming relies on small fish for food, which puts pressure on the marine food chain. Achievements. Kinki University is a pioneer in successfully raising bluefin tuna from eggs to adults. This achievement opens up a sustainable way to reduce pressure on wild tuna fishing. Tuna plays an important role in the Japanese seafood market and has a great influence on the economy. Tuna auction markets. Toyosu Market, Tokyo. This is the largest fish market in Japan and is famous for its tuna auctions. High-quality bluefin tuna are often bought by high-end sushi restaurants at extremely expensive prices. The auction at the beginning of the year is symbolic of a favorable start, attracting the attention of international media. Export and domestic consumption. Japan is both a major consumer and exporter of tuna. The domestic market prioritizes fresh fish consumption, while frozen tuna is mainly exported to the US, Europe, and China. Economic value. Bluefin tuna can reach prices from $10 to $100 per fish, depending on the weight and quality of the meat. In the first auction of the year, tuna can be sold at record prices. For example, in 2013, a bluefin tuna weighing 222 kilograms was sold for $1.8 million. In 2019, a tuna weighing 278 kilograms was sold for $3.1 million, more than 72 billion Vietnamese dongs. Using artificial intelligence (AI) and advanced monitoring equipment to track tuna stocks. Optimizing the fishing and farming process. Blockchain technology is applied to ensure transparency in the origin and quality of tuna. Sustainable tuna farming. Expand bluefin tuna farming projects to meet consumption demand without depleting natural resources. Conservation and international cooperation. Japan needs to continue to cooperate with international organizations such as ICCAT and WCPFC to protect tuna resources and implement strict regulations on catch volumes. Promote sustainable consumption. Raise consumer awareness of choosing tuna products with conservation certification such as MSC, Marine Stewardship Council. Tuna fishing in Japan is one of the oldest and most challenging occupations. The lives of fishermen are often harsh, but also demonstrate resilience and attachment to the sea. Job characteristics. Long trips at sea. Tuna fishing trips often last from 1 week to several months. Depending on the fishing area. Fishermen have to live on boats in cramped conditions, facing big waves and harsh weather at sea. High intensity of work. The casting of long lines and the retrieval of lines require dexterity and good health. The work takes place day and night because the time must be used to achieve the highest yield. Traditional skills. Tuna fishing requires experience and skills passed down from generation to generation. Japanese fishermen often use modern equipment such as sonar and GPS, but still rely on the ability to observe and judge the weather. Water currents and the movement habits of tuna. Income and risks. Tuna, especially bluefin tuna, is increasingly popular around the world. But this also poses many challenges. Rising demand. Japan, the largest market for tuna, especially for sashimi and sushi. US and Europe. Tuna is increasingly popular in Japanese dishes such as sushi and poke bowls. China and South Korea. Demand is growing strongly due to the rise of the middle class and the spread of Japanese culinary culture.